Hey there, this is Michael with the general reading intended for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for July 2020. Welcome, whether you're watching this video for yourself or cross-watching for another individual with Virgo placements. I want to thank all of you who have supported this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. All of that does help this channel grow, and it's a great way of supporting this work, so I really do appreciate all of you who extend yourself in that way. It's absolutely a gift to be able to be here on YouTube doing this work, especially during this time. I feel so blessed, so thank you all for, welcoming me on YouTube, and I hope you feel as welcome on this channel as you have made me feel. If you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe and follow me on all of my other social media platforms as well, where I post giveaways, updates, announcements, and occasionally general card readings, as well as blog posts. All of those links are down below, as well as links for personal readings and Reiki sessions for those of you who feel so called and want to get a little more assistance in your own life. I do like to talk about the astrology in these readings, and I also have an astrology forecast blog for July if you want something a little more in-depth for the collective. I will kind of be interspersing that throughout the reading, talking about it as we're pulling cards, but if you're really interested in the astrology, I definitely recommend checking out that blog as well. So I am going to shuffle for you, Virgo. Really curious to see what we have for you this month, because July is a huge month, especially astrologically speaking. There's just a lot of transits and aspects that are happening that are pretty rare, actually. And we also have an eclipse starting off this month too, so there's definitely a lot of cycles that are going to be coming to an ending, as well as some new beginnings that people are going to be, kind of experiencing as well. So what are the messages for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? And as I'm shuffling here, I do want to give my quick, friendly reminder that this is a general reading, meaning not all of the messages that come forward are going to be meant for you specifically. It is up to your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies to your own life and what should be left behind for somebody else. If this reading just doesn't really resonate, or you'd like greater clarity on something, you're more than welcome to check out your other signs, your Moon, Rising, or Venus signs. And if you don't know what those are, again, there's a natal chart calculator in the description box down below that should be able to help you figure all that out. That is a lot of words. I'm gonna stop talking here. Just need one more card. What do we have for Virgo for the start of July? There we go. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords. Some of you could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. I actually feel like this is your own energy for some of you, though. We have a Seven of Pentacles with an Ace of Pentacles in reverse and the Fool in reverse, all coming out together here. Really interesting energy there. And finally, we do have a Wheel of Fortune. And Virgo, I feel like a lot of you, you're kind of looking at something that hasn't come through yet, and you might be trying to figure out, should I take this leap of faith? Should I take this dive? Like, why hasn't this happened yet? Why hasn't something changed? Why hasn't something come through? Why hasn't there been an offer? This could be in your career. This could be looking for work. This could also be in a relationship, especially if there is an air sign individual, or even an Aries or a Sagittarius with the Fool and the Wheel of Fortune. I do feel like, Virgo, you're kind of stuck in your head a little bit as this Queen of Swords. And you're kind of wondering, why haven't I experienced this payoff for all the work I've put in? Maybe you're finding yourself in a situation where someone doesn't seem to be putting in the same effort as you are. But Virgo, you have the Wheel of Fortune here. Something is changing, and luck is on your side. You might not feel that, but the wheel is spinning here. Let's clarify some of this. Interesting. Queen of Swords clarified with the Five of Wands. Some of you might be playing kind of a mediator role in a situation, or you're watching conflict happen going on around you. And you might be a little sharp with your language, but I actually feel like for most of you, this is you kind of just looking on the periphery, or you just sort of observing this. And it could be that the people around you are not working together or cooperating. And you feel like you're supposed to be working together on something, but a lot of the burden has fallen on you. And there's a lot of ego here, you know, with the Five of Wands and the Fool in reverse. Some of you are dealing with people who are really just stuck in their ego. And it's like there's not really a way to have a productive conversation. And this is actually causing some of you to question your relationships with some people. Knight of Pentacles with Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Yeah, you've been very, very patient, Virgo. And very tolerant of some sort of situation. Could be at work, could be at home, or with the people closest to you. And I knew I felt this wariness here with this Nine of Wands. There is a lot of earth sign energy on the table. You could be dealing with another Virgo, or maybe a Taurus or Capricorn individual. And I think, Virgo, you know mentally you have to keep going forward. You see some sort of vision. You see things are changing, or you're just feeling it intuitively. But emotionally, you're just feeling really worn down, or even physically just exhausted. And while we are in Cancer season, this really is a time of networking, of kind of figuring out who has your back, who you should be working with and associating with. And then as we're kind of moving more into Leo season, Virgo, it is more of a reflective time for you, because that is your 12th house. That is your spirituality. That's your subconscious. It's mysteries. It's dreams. The month leading up to your birthday is usually a time of reflection. And for some of you, that is going to fall in the end of July. But Virgo, even though this hasn't blossomed yet, whatever it is that you're working on, I still get the sense that suddenly something is just going to change with this Wheel of Fortune. It's like all the energy you're putting into this situation, or into this relationship, or something, there's going to be a very sudden shift. I'm not going to lie, this feels more like kind of a career thing, or a work thing, more earth element than a romance, because we have a lot of pentacles here. This is about your life, for most of you anyway, but it could be involving other people as well. And we've been talking about this in the past few readings. I feel like a lot of you have been working on something, or trying to find your soul's work. And you've been putting this energy towards something, or figuring out this direction, and you haven't had this momentum. And then suddenly, as you're going in this direction, I feel like things are just going to shift really quickly. We are going to take a look at the second half of July, but I do want to pull an animal card here, just to get some advice for you, some practical advice. What is the animal wisdom for Virgo? What do we have for Virgo? Show me clearly. And you know, this energy in July, I'm not going to lie, it's a little challenging. We are seeing the end of corrupt systems that have needed to go, that have been on their dying breath for a long time. And we're going to see a lot of resistance as we are going through this transition. Otter and black egg. So otter is telling me that you do need to keep moving and really find this joy as well. It doesn't always have to be a fight. It doesn't always have to be a struggle. Almost just having fun with the process and kind of laughing at yourself a little bit, Virgo. And we are good at that. I think sometimes we have a reputation for being very serious, but we do have that dry sense of humor. And I think we're kind of neurotic enough to know that sometimes we're just a little crazy, and we can kind of laugh at ourselves. And I think with Otter, it's really important for you to still have this light spirit, to still move with the flow. And again, not to isolate yourself. Some of you may need to isolate yourself depending on your situation with what's going on in the world. But still connecting with people in some way. And for those of you working on something with an earth sign, I feel like something is evolving there. And you're both just really exhausted right now. And it feels like you almost have nothing left to give, but it's like you're right at the top of the hill. You've been climbing this hill, and soon you're going to be able to run down it. And it's going to be totally different pace. It's going to feel totally different. And this black egg, you do need to speak your truth. Especially as this Queen of Swords. This is actually one of Virgo's cards too, especially if you were born in the last 10 days of Virgo season or have a placement in the last 10 degrees of Virgo. And this Queen of Swords is very intuitive. She can see the bigger picture. She can kind of see the trends. Even though emotionally things feel like they're not going anywhere, I think somehow you know that's just a story you're telling yourself, or that's just because the energy is really heavy right now. And you sense, you see that something is shifting. And Mercury is retrograde for the first half of July. That can slow things down. And it goes direct on the 12th. And a lot of the time, the conversations we didn't want to have, or perhaps the misunderstandings we did have during Mercury retrograde, all of that comes to the surface in that post-shadow phase. That's when there's the big reveal. Of course, I knew this Ace of Swords was coming for you, Virgo. There is definitely some truth that is coming out in the second half of July. And this could be coming from an air sign, or perhaps this earth sign. And it's like you finally have some clarity. And some of you may realize you've gone about something the wrong way. And it's almost like the energy you've put into something, it's not that that direction is wrong, but the way you've been putting your energy into it, or the way you've been doing it, hasn't been totally aligned. What else do we have for Virgo? Ooh. a lot of cards here. Page of Swords, Temperance, and the Three of Wands in reverse. Okay. So you have Temperance and the Three of Wands together here. There may be more delays. 2020 is a year of delays, and I don't want to freak anyone out with this. I know we're talking about Mercury retrograde, but with the North Node being in Gemini, which I believe switched over in March, and it's going to be there until 2021. It's almost like we're in a Mercury retrograde for that entire time. Where it's like there's delays, there's misinformation, miscommunications. And I'm not seeing this Three of Wands as your ships aren't coming in. You know, you set out these trades, you set out these deals, or you've made some sort of movement and you're waiting for something to come back to you and it's not coming back at the end of July. But you have Temperance here, which is a card of patience. It's a card of divine timing. And this Page of Swords, someone may be a bit of a challenging figure. And it could be really easy to have a sharp exchange. There could be something about money, too, for some of you. Of course. Knight of Swords in reverse. Let's clarify this. Why is this Knight of Swords in reverse? This wanted to come right out. Two of Swords in reverse. So you have a lot of Swords and a lot of Pentacles for this month. This Two of Swords, this delay, it's important for you not to push things too hard right now, Virgo. And again, there's also a really strong Sagittarius energy on this table, so you could be dealing with a Sagittarian energy, or someone who has a very fiery personality. I do feel like there is a heart-to-heart that needs to happen. And it's almost like the energy that you are going in with, Virgo, is going to determine the entire tone of the conversation. And for some of you in the second half of July, you're going to want to go and react, or it's going to be very easy to be reactive to somebody, especially if somebody is not being considerate or caring towards you or your boundaries. But there's definitely this need to speak up. And you might be taking this way more seriously than you should be. You're internalizing something. You're making it a little personal. I don't want to... I know people don't like to have this attention kind of turned on them in these readings, but I think it's important for us to figure out how we can approach a situation in a productive way that's aligned. And I think for you, Virgo, it's really important that you are coming in with some openness here. Because I kind of feel like you only have so much control right now. And that's hard for a Virgo. I get it. And I don't feel like things are always going to be so hard or so challenging, but it just seems like in July there's going to be some bumps along the way. And that's to be expected, you know, everything is happening in tides. And it's actually in those moments that growth is happening the most. It's not a waste of time. It's not like anything is actually being delayed. You're growing. It's actually a very beautiful opportunity. So I want you to sort of see that. See the growth in the delays See the growth in not getting your way right away. Because some of you are realizing you might not actually want the thing you think you want. You might not want that relationship. You might not want this work to be this way. You're reevaluating things because something doesn't feel worth it. And you might be trying to push through, and it's actually a time to kind of lower your guard and really open yourself up to, what is the situation telling me right now? How do I kind of go about this in a more light and playful way? Maybe you just need to keep going and kind of play with it, or maybe you just need to go into a different direction and enjoy yourself. We have a lot of energy that's moving through Capricorn, which is your 5th house, your house of pleasure, play, passion. And Virgo takes that really seriously because of that Capricorn placement there. So let's see. Let's pull one more animal card for you. I did see Dragonfly really want to pop out. And you know, Dragonfly, it's all about communication between water and air elements. So communicating emotions and the way that our mind state, our mental state, air, intellect, the swords, can be very unsettled by our emotions. And so it is really important, that's coming out again, just kind of being reiterated. Be aware of your own energy when you're having conversations, and how your own emotions may be coloring your perceptions in that moment. Fox energy, interesting. I actually am kind of pleased to see this, Virgo, because Fox is sort of this energy where you'll see something, and your encounter with foxes are usually very brief. It's like you see it and it's gone. When this card shows up, it's actually kind of an opportunity for you to reach out, for you to follow this fox. A lot of the time you'll see this energy and you might feel like you missed your opportunity or something is not coming. You are supposed to follow it. It's kind of the universe playing a game with you, seeing if you're going to follow suit. And it's not about trying to force anything, it's about being open and playful with this. And I feel like you almost know that these games are going on right now. Maybe in the universe at large, or maybe with somebody you're working with or someone you're interested in. And you don't have to play the game. I'm not telling you that you should play the game or you shouldn't play the game. That's really going to depend on your own intuition and discernment. What feels like is worth your energy and worth your time. But sometimes these delays are just really the universe asking you, is this what you really want? Because a lot of the time we do have levels of resistance towards the things we want without even realizing it. And these pauses, these moments of interference, can be a really powerful way for us to look at ourselves. How am I resisting what I want? How am I working against myself? Because you might be making this about somebody else, and I definitely think they are playing a role in this, for sure. But Virgo, you're thinking a lot this month about where you're putting your energy. We were talking about that with the 7 of Pentacles in reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I do feel like there is still something coming. And you can kind of just feel it. Like something is just suddenly gonna break. Something is just suddenly gonna move for you. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen in July. You might start to see signs of it. There could also be signs that make it seem like it's not coming, and it's again your patience being tested. And all of those intense emotions like, oh my god, it's never going to happen, all of those triggered feelings are coming to the surface for you to integrate that and to heal that. Because it's a lack of trust in the universe. And I see a lot of reflection here. A lot of reflection here. Bottom of the deck, we had the Swan. I kept being drawn to this. This is you looking at yourself. Some of you may be dealing with a twin flame situation. Could be possible. Or a soulmate situation. Someone who's kind of a mirror. And that's not always a romantic thing. Okay? Not always romance. You have the cosmic egg beneath that, which is the crown chakra, spiritual perspective, reflection, and wouldn't you know it, right beneath that is dragonfly. So there's a lot of reflection that is happening this month, and it's not a month of inaction, it's a month of changing your course, of altering your direction, of altering your momentum, kind of recalibrating. And that's going to be the case for a lot of people. I actually talked about this in the astrology blog for July, so I actually do recommend that you look at that, and even look at your own natal chart. And if you don't know what your natal chart looks like, I do have a natal chart calculator down below that should be able to help you kind of get a sense of what might be happening where do these signs and these planets fall in your own personal chart. It can be kind of good to know. And you know, if you want more clarity, again, you can look at the videos for your moon, rising, or Venus sign. That can be a way of figuring out what those are for you as well. And, you know, those are really all the messages I have for you this month. It seems like I still feel good for you, Virgo. I feel like there is something that is about to take off, and you're kind of feeling it. I want to say it's going to be in your own birthday month. Like, right as you're hitting your solar return, something beautiful is going to be unfolding for you right around your birthday. So start making that wish now, especially with Cancer. The new moon eclipse that we had in Cancer on June 21st. We have another new moon in Cancer on July 22nd, I believe. Or July 20th. I think it is July 20th. And that's your 11th house. That's your house of miracles, of sudden manifestations. Use that new moon very wisely. Because there is this Wheel of Fortune energy for you. There is this, you know, Temperance energy for you. Something is coming. It's coming in divine timing. Don't give up on it. Don't lose faith. And for real now, those are all the messages I have for you, Virgo. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what these sort of delays you've been experiencing are, what it is that you're really pushing forward with or trying to make happen, and maybe you can support each other in the comments as well. I do have all of my links for personal readings and Reiki sessions for those of you who want a little personalized guidance as well. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Virgo. Have a happy July.